Chapter 7. The Grand Elevator. We should really be getting back, Lady said, but she led him toward the dorms anyway. She kept looking over her shoulder as if expecting someone to come chasing her down. I told Mr. Bouchard I'd just be a minute to check on you. I feel like the worm wants me to see the elevator, Monique said. The ceremony was so full of love. She would have vomited again if there had been anything left in her stomach. I'm meant to see it. We're meant to go there right now. Don't you feel it? Lady's eyes sparkled. I think I feel it too. Her pace quickened. She had cheered along with the rest of the choir at Phoebe's death, but no one could enjoy killing this much. She, Israel, and others had to have been brainwashed into complacence and changed by the worm. Helping them was beyond Monique's power. That song that pierced the universe would impale them on the empty place if their king saw fit. She eyed the linoleum for her switchblade, but it was nowhere to be seen. Someone must have grabbed it when Grey Maiden took Karen away. Maybe even the Grey Maiden herself. Lady led them back through the carpeted dorm hall, where she told the story of the seer and the worm. Monique didn't look in case the paint began to writhe, and into the white staircase room. Their footsteps echoed off every wall. Monique glanced at the ceiling vent for whatever Karen had seen earlier, but its slats remained dark and empty. She hurried next to Lady in case that was about to change. Their footsteps went quiet in the next carpeted hallway. Was she your friend? Lady asked. Who did she mean? Corinne or Phoebe? Monique shook her head. My first ceremony scared me too, Lady sighed, as if recalling from aeons ago. No one's fed to whatever you called it, the empty place. That woman back there, Phoebe, Monique said. Right. The worm is pure, untainted by flesh. The only way we'll join him is to shed the flesh and become pure ourselves. You wouldn't drink a glass of water if it had a drop of blood in it, right? Lady had clearly never been so thirsty. It's the same. He needs purity. It only seems empty because the universe is making room to accommodate him. The song wipes our flesh away and welcomes our pure selves to the worm. We'll all join him someday. Monique licked her lips and thought of Freedom Tunnel. Just what had she slept beside? Lady nudged her elbow into Monique's arm. Don't be so glum. We're all pieces of a greater world in the making. History belongs to us. Monique didn't think so. The worm empowered kings, not queens. The authority that crackled off Bouchard in his side of the ceremony room didn't spark the same in the choir. Some of the worm servants sat in chariots while others were horses. No meek shall inherit this world. The carpeted hallway opened into a narrow white passage where glaring walls made seeing turns and corners difficult. Nothing seemed distinct, and without a guide, it would have been easy to get lost beneath Empire Music Hall. Worse, white paint pretended to hold patterns like before. Monique focused on the safe, boring grout lines between linoleum squares. It won't always be like this, Lady said. Into the sunless palace we'll go. The wounds of this world will be unmade, so says the king. Scars never go away, Monique said. They will when the worm remakes the world. The worm changes you. How does he do that? Same as he's changing you now. Lady's face looked almost lovesick. His will is gravity, and we can't help falling for him. He wants, and we think. That's how we know who's meant to be a king, how you know you need to see the elevator. Monique guessed that was true. Kings were liars too. Nothing really holds still. Even the world is always spinning like clay on a pottery wheel. Earth will be unmade, remade, and will be changed into new things. Lady clapped her hands, and their echo became thunderous applause. The worm has a special shape for me. It was hard not to envy her enthusiasm. You're so lucky, Monique said. And you too. Lady turned and smiled. The worm changes everyone. I wonder what you'll become. Monique felt suddenly transparent and glanced down at herself. Beneath her clothes, she was scarred from Dr. Sam's touch. She tried to quell the quivering curiosity inside her. She couldn't. When's the worm supposed to do all this? At his third coming, Lady's next sigh was almost a song. We'll ready the bride, gather in the sunless palace, and sing the song that pierces the universe. The worm knows when he'll be back, even if we don't. Down in the sunless palace, Dawn was below, if she was here at all. Every road leading to her and the worm, a god and his bride. They were going to do to Donna what they'd done to Phoebe, but to some grander magnitude, the worm's ultimate ceremony. Monique could somewhat relate. She would have married Donna too, if possible. They would have made wonderful wives together. The narrow hall ended in another high-ceilinged room. Sparse furniture and plastic ferns lined the walls where messy paint cast the cosmos in white. Another vent watched from above. Monique thought she saw something move inside, but after she blinked, it looked empty. "Can we hurry?" she asked. That was Monique. "Can we hurry?" she asked. If the ceiling hid sliding shadows and watchful eyes, she wanted to get far away from them. "I hope it's okay to show you the elevator so soon," Lady said, but she picked up her pace. "I'm a little nervous." That wouldn't do. If Lady was nervous, she might run them back to the choir and its leaders. Best to keep her focused. "What's it like below?" Monique asked. "Well, there's the elevator tunnel and the channels that Gray uses." Lady looked to be counting items of interest on her fingers. "The Sunless Palace, the Chamber of Old Time. Mr. Bouchard says the whole underground flows from there. Lots of cultures have found it, but we're the last, and everyone along the way has respected its purity. Pretty neat, huh? It's like the worm wills us to understand him." That sounded like a useful skill. Lady gave another hand clap. "We're here." Twin vertical shafts ran down the wall from ceiling to either side of steel double doors. No decorations marked the metalwork. The elevator didn't look particularly grand, but symbols patterned the wall paint much clearer than anywhere else. Monique made out a crooked line connecting 7 points. The constellation of a worm formed between the stars. A service panel and 2 round buttons stuck out beside the doors. She pressed one, and unseen gears began to thrum. "We're going down?" Lady asked. "I thought you just needed to see it." Monique shrugged. "I'm following the worm's will." Lady stared for a long moment as the clink of elevator gears counted the seconds. Then she smiled. "I'm so happy for you. Newcomers don't usually catch wind of him so quickly, not even me." "Okay then, no permission. We're bold and ready and doing this." She craned her neck toward one vertical shaft and took a deep breath. "Ooh." Monique gaped. "What are you doing?" Lady's neck settled over her shoulders. "I called the Gray Maiden to meet us at the bottom. Nobody goes into old time without her. It's too dangerous in the realm of the old kings." "What does that mean? Why do we need her?" "Because there are worse things than kings down there." Monique reached up her sleeve on instinct, found no switchblade, and raked jagged nails down her arm. There was no telling what that monster could do. She had to know Monique didn't belong here and had chosen Karen between a woman who could sing and another who couldn't. Between Monique and Lady, the Grey Maiden would figure things out. The room offered no hiding places. The chairs were thin and useless, and the vent was too high up. A shadow swept across its black slats. "Are there other monsters like Grey Maiden?" Monique asked. Lady scoffed. "She's not a monster. She's just a different kind of person. A refugee of old time. Lots of New Yorkers are refugees from somewhere or other. Why not another Earth?" Monique tried again. "Are there other people like her?" "Not that I know of." Lady pressed her knuckles against her chin. "Do you think it's fair they made Gray learn English, but we won't learn her language?" It's like singing, but tougher. I'm trying to get better at it so we can talk, and maybe she won't feel lonely. We don't even know what she calls herself." She turned to Monique, pivoting her chin across her knuckles. "Actually, I don't know what you call yourself either. What's your name?" Monique almost said Phoebe, who had given her name. How else could Bouchard know it? And now she was dead. That seemed like a bad omen. Monique didn't answer, wouldn't even look at Lady, just watched the elevator light up and its double doors slide open. It seemed safer to hide every piece of herself that she could. Empire Music Hall was greedy. Give it an inch and it could take an island. Her name was worth more than any inch, anyway. Even Donna rarely called her Monique. More often, Mon Amour. She was silly like that. "Weird smell," Monique said, stepping aside. "Kind of dewy." It wasn't true. The elevator had a copper smell, but she didn't know what to say. Lady didn't either. She pursed her lips and followed inside. The doors closed in an airy kiss. The elevator trembled around them, cleared its mechanical throat, and then sank into the earth. Lady stretched her arms high, pressing fingertips against the ceiling, and leaned over Monique. "Why won't you tell me your name?" Her voice became melodic, but there was something coy in it too. Monique focused hard on the elevator doors. The engine hummed through every wall, a metal choir of its own. "Why do you want to know so bad?" she asked. "Because we're friends, and I told you mine." Lady leaned a little deeper. "Or do you think it's fake? Or do you think mine's a fake because I chose it?" "I'd never think that." Monique willed the doors to open. She didn't care which floor. Lady took a step closer, placing one boot toe between Monique's sneakers. "You're looking at the doors, but there aren't any stops on the way. It's all rock between the surface and old time. Express route to the Sunless Palace." Monique retreated and her back hit hard steel. The elevator seemed to shrink the deeper it went. She was stuck here, and Lady was a stranger, nothing like a friend at all. Monique couldn't remember her last true friend. Lady shoved Monique flat against the elevator wall. She was taller and no longer seemed too frail to her to fly. "You have a secret, don't you?" "I want to know." The elevator slowed and shuddered. Its doors hissed, about to open. Lady thrust an arm between Monique and escape. "Tell me your name. It'll be the best thing that happens tonight." Hot breath mixed with cool air. Her eyes flashed starlight. "Are you Monique?" Monique's eyes widened. "What?" "You are!" Lady slipped back and clapped excited hands. "You are!" Monique broke for open doors. The world was dark outside the elevator, but she couldn't stay here another minute. A fist struck between her shoulders and sent her sprawling on the hard rock floor. "Don't run from me," Lady snapped. Pebbles scattered from her encroaching footsteps. "Where's Gray? Ooh, ooh." Monique reached ahead. They were in a tunnel only a little taller than Lady. However large the shafts the Grey Maiden used to climb between the underground and the surface, she would be slowed here. Lady planted a boot in the small of Monique's back. "Stop moving. I'm sorry for hurting you, but you're not making it easy. This is the worm's will." Ooh, ooh. Despite the weight on her spine, Monique tried to crawl. She wouldn't let these people feed her to the empty place. She'd die in the dark first. Ooh. The Grey Maiden's call sounded higher pitched than usual, but no less terrible. "She's here," Lady shouted, and now she's... Her boasting snapped into a shriek. The weight sailed off Monique's back. She scrabbled to her feet and took off into the dark tunnel. Her shoes banged hard against the ground, and every footstep echoed. So did Lady's screams. Her calls to the Grey Maiden seemed to have summoned something else. Monique didn't pause until she reached a curve in the tunnel. The elevator's light looked distant behind her. Lady looked even farther away. She was shrinking beneath a storm of gray-garbed figures, their hands and feet glistening with silvery talons. They reminded Monique of Grey Maiden, but closer to Monique's size and less stooped. Were there 5? 6? They moved too quickly to count. Talons slashed and shoved. Lady fell screaming into a black crevice in the wall, and it swallowed her, body and screams and all. The Grey Maiden-like creatures dove after her, their clamor cut short under the sudden clink of the elevator. Someone was calling into the surface. A shrinking column of light gleamed off fresh blood on the rock floor. Strands of red hair floated down and clung to its wet surface. The elevator engine thrummed and the doors hissed shut, sealing the underground in total darkness.